sorry, just working on my tan for summer. But, you know, before summer comes, there's a few things we gotta do. We gotta have a little iPad house cleaning. And then we'll hit the road for summertime. Alright, step number 1. First thing you're gonna need to do is you're gonna need to pull out your iPad, your charger, and a pen. Alright, step number 2. Your teacher at this time, or already has handed out this super important form. This is your iPad checkout form that we're going to go through together. Now, it's extremely important that you follow these instructions so that everything is done smoothly and accurately. Again, you don't want to get charged for something that you shouldn't be charged for, so please pay attention, follow the instructions. Step number 3. Please write your name, first and last name, clearly at the top of the page. Next, please give us your passcode here. It's important that you give us the correct passcode to ensure that the overhaul on your iPad is done correctly and efficiently. So again, please print clearly first and last name along with your passcode. Let's go ahead and take a look at your iPad checkout form. I want you to pay attention to right here where it says Apple ID and password. Please fill this out. It's incredibly important that you do fill this out because you're going to receive this same iPad that you have now next fall. And some of us have troubles remembering our password or Apple ID, and this is how you're going to retrieve all the same apps you have currently. So go ahead, write that in nice and clear. Okay, if you need help finding your Apple ID, you can go ahead into your settings and scroll down to where it says iTunes and App Store. At the very top, it's going to show your Apple ID. So if you've forgotten your Apple ID and you only know it because it shows up in your iTunes or App Store, there it is. Once you have completed filling out your Apple ID and password, let's head up and take a look at your actual iPad. All right. Is this the iPad that you received at the beginning of the year? Or is your iPad missing? If this is the same iPad you've had all year, go ahead and check. Go ahead and check the turned in checkbox. If your iPad is missing, you have no iPad in front of you, make sure you check the missing checkbox. If you turned in a broken iPad and received a replacement or a loaner iPad, this is the box you are going to check here. Okay. If you've had any issues with your iPad, please check and make note in this column. All right, moving on. Step number 4, we're going to take a look at the charger. First, let's take a look at the brick. Is this the brick? Are you turning in a brick? Do you have a brick or is it missing? If you're turning it in, go ahead and check turned in. If it's missing, go ahead and check the missing brick. Do you have your cord? All right. If you do, check your check-in box. If not, check the missing box. If your charger, brick or cord has cracks in it, if there's any issues with it, make sure to select the corrected box and maybe give a brief explanation either here or here. Step number 5. We're going to be looking at the actual case that covers the iPad. Do you have the plastic screen cover? If so, check yes. If not, check no. How about the hard shell, the black piece of your iPad cover? If you are missing the small hinge in the back to prop it up, don't worry about it. We just want to know if you have the main black piece. If you do, check yes. If not, please check no. And then the color-coded part of the case cover. Do you have the rubber shell? If so, check yes. If not, please check no. Again, if there are any issues, please check here. And you can give us a brief explanation here what your issues are. Number 6. You will now be removing your iPad cover all the way off and inspecting the entire iPad. To remove the iPad cover, do as follows. Go ahead, grab a quarter, some keys, and find the smaller tab on the screen cover. Once you have found the smaller tab, go ahead and you can prop it open with that quarter or a set of keys and just pop, and it should pop up. Then you're going to move to the top. It's another flat area. Pop that out. And you should be able to slide it to the left once you remove the final tab. Slide to the left. Once it has been removed, you've inspected the entire iPad. Let's make note of any scratches, buttons that don't work, dents, etc. This is an important step. You want to make sure that you note anything that might be on or up with your iPad physically. Please make note of it over here in this box. Here. Okay. If everything is clear and you do not need to check anything or write anything, your iPad is perfect, please, there's no need to check or write anything. You don't need to say, all good, just don't even check or write anything. This is very important to check the screen. This applies to this year's insurance policy. After inspection and documentation, just leave the screen protector off, flip it upside down, and leave it on top of the actual iPad. If you need to back up your notability on the iPad, that is the most important data to really back up. Everything else, all your apps, should be able to be re-downloadable through your iTunes account. Again, you're receiving this exact iPad next fall. So you're not going to be getting a different iPad. You're going to be getting the same iPad. Go ahead, find your notability. And once that's open, you're going to select the share button here. Select share. It says select notes for sharing. We're going to go ahead and select all notes. You can see that they turn blue checked. Now if you've been doing this all along, it automatically is backing these up for you. And then you can select the share button again. Select Google Drive. When you say send to Google Drive, it automatically makes a notability folder for you, so you can go ahead and send to Google Drive. And there it will go. It should take a few seconds. Step number 8. Make sure that your iPad is updated to iOS 7.1 or newer. This should have already been done. If it is not, you need to do so immediately at this time. You'll go into your settings, general, update, and install. It will take you approximately 10 to 15 minutes, so go ahead and begin that process if you have not. If your iPad is updated to ISO 7.1.1 or newer, go ahead and make your check mark. You're going to be moving on to the checkout process here. All right? To update your iPad to iOS 7.1.1, go ahead into your settings and find General. Once you're in General, you're going to see Software Update. Click Software Update, and mine's up to date, but yours would have a gear here and say update and install. You can go ahead and start that process. It's going to take about 10 minutes. So go ahead and get started on that. You may be asking yourself, so how much money will I have to pay if I don't have something to turn in today? All right? So to keep track of your bling bling, take a look at your form, and it states on the left-hand side exactly how much money you will owe if you do not have that part of this form to turn in. All right, people, it's time for step number 9. Teachers, go ahead, call your students up one at a time. At this point, you're going to go through the iPad form with them to assure it was filled out correctly, properly, and neatly. Things to look for. Double check that the iPad screen, is it cracked or is it not cracked? Do they have their charger? Do they not have their charger? Also, they need to show you that the iPad was updated to iOS 7.1.1. Once you have completed that, you can go ahead and initial the top right of the iPad form. Then the student can power off their iPad. Each iPad must be shut down. Once the iPad is shut down, the form is filled out, you are going to be given 2 different stickers. One with a barcode that will go on the back of the iPad, and another one that will go on the student's iPad baggie. Okay? You'll take the iPad, the charger, and the form, put it in the baggie that matches each sticker. The sticker has to match the iPad with the baggie. Go ahead, place the iPad in your tote, check off the student, and they're ready for summertime.